welcome to Lislab. In this episode, we explore events from the week of the 23rd of February to the 1st of March throughout history, looking back across different centuries of the Dark Age and medieval world. Every moment you will hear about happened during this exact calendar week, from imperial decrees to religious transformations and political upheaval. These days shape the direction of European and Mediterranean history. If you enjoy calm, documentary-style history, consider subscribing and let me know in the comments which event stands out most to you. Number 10. The Great Persecution begins in the Roman Empire. On 24th February 303, Emperor Diocletian issued the first of a series of edicts targeting Christians across the Roman Empire. Churches were ordered destroyed, scriptures confiscated, and Christian officials stripped of rank unless they performed traditional Roman sacrifices. This marked the beginning of what later historians would call the Great Persecution. Enforcement was especially severe in the eastern provinces, where imperial authority was strongest. The aim was to restore unity through traditional religion at a time of political strain. Instead, the persecution hardened Christian identity and created martyrs whose stories circulated widely. Within a generation, Christianity would not only survive, but gain imperial backing under Constantine. In the long term, this attempt to suppress the faith became one of the final efforts to preserve pagan Rome before its religious transformation. Number 9. Valentinian first proclaimed Roman Emperor. Following the sudden death of Emperor Jovian, Roman troops in Pannonia proclaimed the experienced general Valentinian I as emperor. His elevation by the army reflected the growing instability of imperial succession in the 4th century. Valentinian quickly reassured his soldiers that military strength would remain his priority. Soon after, he appointed his brother Valens to rule the eastern provinces, effectively reinforcing the division of the empire. This arrangement temporarily stabilized frontier defenses along the Rhine and Danube. However, it also reinforced the habit of splitting authority between East and West. Over time, such divisions hardened into permanent separation. Valentinian I's proclamation therefore mattered not just as a change of ruler, but as another step toward the structural fragmentation of the late Roman world. Number 8. Establishment of the Roman Tetrarchy. On 1st March 1993, Diocletian formalized a new system of rule known as the Tetrarchy. 2 senior emperors, called Augusti, would govern alongside 2 junior Caesars. Constantius Chlorus was appointed as Caesar in the west, creating a power-sharing arrangement intended to prevent civil war. The empire was now administratively divided into eastern and western regions, each with its own leadership. This system aimed to secure frontiers and ensure orderly succession. For a time, it reduced internal conflict and strengthened military response. Yet it also institutionalized regional separation. In the long term, the Tetrarchy laid the groundwork for the enduring division between the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. Its legacy would shape the medieval Byzantine state and the eventual fall of the West. Number 7. Hadrian adopts Antoninus Pius as heir. On 25th February 38, Emperor Hadrian formally adopted Antoninus Pius as his successor. Adoption had become a political tool for ensuring stable succession rather than relying solely on bloodline inheritance. Antoninus was already an experienced administrator and respected senator. By choosing him, Hadrian aimed to prevent the kind of military unrest that often followed imperial deaths. The decision secured a smooth transition when Hadrian died later that year. Antoninus Pius would go on to rule during a relatively peaceful and prosperous period. He, in turn, adopted Marcus Aurelius, extending this line of stable governance. Although earlier than the traditional Dark Age period, this moment of managed succession stands in contrast to later centuries of instability. It illustrates how fragile continuity could become when such systems broke down. Number 6. The Tripartite Indenture and Divisions of Power in Britain. On 28th February 1405, during the Welsh uprising led by Owain Glenmur, a remarkable agreement known as the Tripartite Indenture was signed. Glenmur, Edmund Mortimer, and Henry Percy planned to divide England and Wales among themselves. The agreement reflected deep dissatisfaction with King Henry IV's rule. Wales would become an independent principality under Glyndwr, while England would be partitioned between the other conspirators. Although ambitious, the plan never came to fruition. Internal defeats and shifting alliances weakened the rebellion, yet the very existence of such a document reveals how fragile royal authority could be in medieval Britain. It demonstrated the powerful nobles were willing to redraw political boundaries entirely. In the longer term, it highlighted the constant tension between central monarchy and regional power. Number 5. Death of Charles, III of Naples, and accession of Ladislaus. On 24 February 1386, King Charles, III of Naples, died after being fatally wounded in Hungary. His death triggered immediate succession by his young son, Ladislaus. The new king was only a child, leaving governance in the hands of regents. Rival claimants from the Angevin line contested the Neapolitan throne. Southern Italy entered a prolonged period of dynastic conflict. These disputes drew in wider European powers, including France and Hungary. Ladislaus eventually secured his position, but only after years of instability. The event illustrates how the sudden death of a ruler could destabilize an entire region. In the broader medieval context, such succession crises repeatedly reshaped alliances and borders. Number 4. Columbus uses a lunar eclipse in Jamaica. On 29 February 54, stranded in Jamaica during his fourth voyage, Christopher Columbus faced dwindling supplies and strained relations with local communities. Consulting astronomical tables, he knew a total lunar eclipse would occur on this night. He warned local leaders that his god would darken the moon in anger if they refused to provide aid. When the eclipse began, fear spread among the islanders. Columbus then claimed he would restore the moon if cooperation resumed. As the eclipse ended naturally, his authority appeared vindicated. This episode demonstrates the practical application of medieval astronomical knowledge. It also reflects the imbalance of information between European explorers and indigenous populations. In the long term, such encounters shaped patterns of conquest and colonization across the Atlantic world. Number 3. Reconstruction of Hagia Sophia ordered by Justinian I. On 23 February 532, after the devastating Nika Riots earlier that year, Emperor Justinian ordered the construction of a new and grander Hagia Sophia. The previous church had been destroyed during the unrest. Justinian commissioned architects Anthemius and Isidore to design a structure unlike any before it. The rebuilding symbolized imperial resilience after near overthrow. The new Hagia Sophia would become one of the greatest architectural achievements of the medieval world. It stood as the religious heart of the Byzantine Empire for centuries. Beyond architecture, it represented the fusion of imperial authority and Christian faith. Its influence extended across Orthodox Christianity and later into Ottoman history. Number 2. The Edict of Thessalonica. On 27 February 380, Emperor Theodosius I issued a decree that would redefine the religious identity of the Roman Empire. The Edict of Thessalonica declared Nicene Christianity to be the official state faith. Alternative Christian doctrines and traditional pagan practices were increasingly marginalized. The decree aligned imperial authority with the bishops of Rome and Alexandria. In practical terms, it strengthened the institutional church. Over time, it reshaped law, culture, and education throughout Europe. The Roman state now formally supported a single orthodox belief system. This marked the end of religious pluralism within imperial governance. The consequences would echo throughout the medieval period. Number 1. Christianity becomes the Roman Empire's official religion. On 27 February 380, the same decree issued by Theodosius I officially made Nicene Christianity the state religion of the Roman Empire. This monumental shift in religious policy reshaped European history for centuries. Imperial power was now explicitly tied to Christian doctrine. This shift influenced everything from political legitimacy to artistic expression. Pagan temples gradually declined, while churches expanded in influence. Bishops became central figures in civic administration. Medieval Europe would inherit this union of church and state authority. The transformation begun on 27 February 380 shaped law, kingship, and identity for over a millennium. Few weeks in history contain a moment of such lasting consequence. Which of these events surprised you most from this week in history? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through the Dark Age and medieval world, please like the video and subscribe to ListLab for more weekly explorations.